The whole issue around sexual problems is often the embarrassment of talking to your partner about the fact you feel you may have a problem between you. The embarrassment, the hesitation, the feeling that you're going to look foolish, make yourself vulnerable, that you may get laughed at, that you may get rejected. Now it's interesting because human beings have developed language in order to negotiate sex. I don't know if many people realize that, but we're the only species that have to play around with words before we actually have consensual sex together. And so we need to relearn how to talk to each other about sexual problems. So my 5 tips are going to be about how to improve sexual communication. My first tip is to actually use the written word to help you. Get a piece of paper and write down on it any relationship or sexual issue that you feel you have. What needs improving? The second thing you need to do is to maybe quantify your relationship with a number between 1 to 10. An 8, for instance, would be pretty good. A 5 would mean you need some work. So it may be the relationship needs a number or the sexual problem needs a number. So you have an idea roughly where it is on the scale of need. And also, if your partner does the same, you can compare notes. So where you may think you're an 8 and they think you're a 6, you might be able to come together and eventually create a 7 between the two of you. Tip number 2 is to actually find the space and the time to discuss this. It might well be when you're walking down a country road, relaxed and happy. Or it might be when you're in the front room, television's off, you're not likely to be disturbed by children or the telephone or people dropping in. It shouldn't be before or after you have sex. It should be outside the bedroom and in a space where you're already relaxed and happy. And what you need to do to broach the subject is just say, listen, I'd really like to talk about our relationship and how you feel it's going. I'd like to talk about our sex life and whether you feel we're having sex often enough or at the right times and the right places, doing enough of the right things. Broaching it in that way makes it immediately a shared conversation. Be prepared to put your hand up straight from the start and say, I may have a few problems or I may be letting the side down, just to ease the tension in the atmosphere. Because what you might be getting is your partner suddenly getting on the defensive. And I'm thinking in particular a woman trying to talk to a man, because women are so much better at discussing these issues and touching their feelings, and men immediately think it's their performance that's in question, so they get defensive. So set the scene, pick your time and place, be ready to admit your weaknesses and failings, and broach the subject to them in a way that's fairly general. How do they see your relationship going? Is there an area that you can agree on between the two of you that needs improving? Tip number 3 is about tone and attitude and use of words. Obviously, you need to keep your tone soft and mellow, and you need to not speak in anger and not be laying blame. Each partner should feel free to discuss any sexual fears without feeling that they might be ridiculed. They need to be able to say whether they've got a lower or higher sex drive, for instance, without fear of the other partner jumping on them. You want to avoid overly emotive or sexually charged words like frigid or overly sexed or horny or perverted, because these are words that have negative connotations, and what will happen is your partner will just get defensive and block out really what the message is. You need to avoid expressions too, such as you never do this for me, or you always do that, and really preface each statement with I feel, because your feelings are your feelings and nobody can take them away from you. They're to do with you, not the other person, so that's not going to make your partner defensive. Be very clear what you're asking for. Are you asking for more time in the relationship, less time apart, more shared things together? Are you asking for more sex? Are you asking for varied sex? Are you asking for sex that isn't just the missionary position but wants to experience a bit more? Do you have a need to act out a fantasy? Do you have a need for more touching? Many women need touching and affection as a prelude to sex. In fact, women's sense of touch and their sense of hearing is much stronger than a man's. So for a woman, her G-spot is the ears. So if a man wants to have really great sex, he needs to do a lot of cuddling, stroking, massaging, and whispering sweet nothings That will get him much further mileage than anything else. Women should remember that men are more visual and get excited by seeing things, by having mirrors up, by dressing up, by sexy lingerie. So you can help each other by discussing your sexual needs, being open about that. Tip number 5 is to speak out loud what it is you fear or are unhappy with. Listen to it, let your partner hear it. And the reason I say this is because if you vocalize something, straight away you'll be able to judge whether it's actually a prejudice or an opinion and not actually fact. So it may be the very thing you're unhappy about doesn't really exist or isn't something that your partner's to blame for, or it may just be an attitude or a hang-up that you've had left over from childhood, something that you need to work on. So verbalizing will help you to spot whether there really is a problem in the sexual relationship.